Hello, TBR fans. Welcome to another episode of Talking About Rock. I'm Rob Edwards here in Buffalo, New York. Today we have this special guest, Rochester, New York's only 100% rock and roll fundraising band. Please welcome to the show, Steve and Duane from the DAWGS. How's it going, guys?
What's going on?
Excellent, excellent. Thanks for joining us. I know it's probably a busy time for you guys. You know, you have so many events that it looks like are going on happening.
Yeah, we hit a stretch, where we've had 3 or 4 in the span of a couple of weeks. It's been pretty exciting stuff.
And you guys, I just was checking out online. You guys came out with your first public service award. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, we're super proud of that. It's pretty cool because it's a reflection on some of the folks that we have helped and some of the people in the community that raised their hand and said that we've done some good things and it's humbling because these it's the same folks who are nominating us and raising their hand and saying that we should get this award are doing amazing things all day every day themselves, and so it's a real credit to us and to them and to really to the community, I think. So
yeah, just reaching out to the community, doing all the things you guys do, and I want to get to all those. I want to talk about those different fundraising activities you guys have gone through, so we can get into that and let the public know a little bit more about it for sure. But let's kind of go back and tell us how this all began. Maybe you can tell us, Steve. Was this an issue from another band? Was this someone's idea? How did this come about?
So it's kind of a quirky story. So the original version of the band was 4 guys who all worked for the same company, and Rochester-based company, and that company is heavily supportive of the United Way. And so we came up with the idea of having a United Way fundraiser where we would play songs and people would donate money to sing with us, right? And so we would have an event where the first year 5 or 6 people got up and sang. We made $1,200 or whatever.
So it's a live karaoke type of thing. Who would want to do that, right? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, exactly. And so as years went on, we continued to do that once a year fundraiser, United Way fundraiser. And about 2018, the band had changed members a little bit, but myself and Lou Germano, who is our guitar player extraordinaire, who couldn't be here tonight, and we can talk a little bit about those guys too, but the 2 that are missing. But he and I decided we should sort of take the show on the road and do some public events. And so about 18, we started looking for people, charitable organizations to partner with. And it was amazing how difficult it was at first, because, we would go out and we'd say, hey, we want to do an event for you. We'll do all the planning. We'll do all the lifting. We'll play for free. And at the end of the night, we'll give you a check. And they would be like, what's the catch? I don't think so. Yeah. So it started slow, but eventually, we stayed with it. And Pete changed, personnel a couple of different times. Unfortunately, we lost one of our key members. He passed away, and that led us to Al Germano, who was our lead singer keyboard player, our 4th member who's not here tonight, and Lou Germano, who's our guitar player. Not coincidence, same last name. These guys are brothers, and we found Double D, Duane, through that connection as well, and he joined a couple years ago. So we kind of picked up steam from 18 on, and we're at the point now where we're doing about a show a month. Sometimes a little bit more, like you said. We've had a string of 3 or 4 over the last couple of weeks, but yeah, and so it kind of built on itself that way. But it started as a in-work live karaoke fundraiser. So
excellent. Yeah, that's a really neat idea. So Double D, can you tell us, so what was your experience when you joined up with these guys? Did you do a couple auditions, or did you kind of just like, yeah, this is kind of what I want to do? Or
yeah, so I knew Al because I worked with him. Okay, so Al is Lou's brother, and they were looking for a drummer at the time, and I had been in other bands, and I had some I was not in a band at that time, so I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do it. I said yes. I went in and I auditioned for him, and everything is the rest is history, I guess. The one thing that I really didn't realize is the amount of charitable work that this band does for the community, you know? So you know, extremely humbling. It's such a good feeling to go out there and pretend that we're rock stars once a month or twice a month. And the other thing to, you know, be able to hand over those checks and really make a difference in these people's lives, you know, whether it's military, whether it's little kids getting birthday presents. I mean, there's a lot of things that we do that are really good, that is really exciting and really fulfilling, I guess, you know, because, you know, the one thing that I get asked out about a lot is, you know, the fact that we play for free. And when I say we play for free, like, we don't get anything. I break a stick, I buy a stick. Okay, it's to that level. And but it's great. It's something that I wouldn't change at all.
Yeah, it's funny because we met through a summer outdoor event that there was a kind of a throw together band.
Oh,
that
that's
was
right.
based on where Al and Duane worked. And so I had not met Duane before. We had a couple of practices, and the nucleus of the band was the four of us, but then there was a member or two that were, you know, also part of that event. And we just knew from that day that we were looking for a drummer for the Dogs, and you know, Double D was the guy. So it's and as he said, you know, people don't necessarily wrap their head around the fact that, you know, we do this in a charitable space, but, you know, like, if you come out and see us and we're wearing matching powder blue suits for one of our sets to have a little fun with it, we bought those suits, you know, that kind of thing. And that's because that's our commitment to the community and what we do, and it's just a way to give back and a way to wear a silly suit. So
Right. I was checking out some of the videos you guys have. You got like a video for the Romantics where you guys are dressed up a little bit.
yeah.
But are you pretty much sticking with like the classic rock or the 80s type of music at this point?
So we have the format, or I guess formula, is that we learned a little bit back that the more that we can appeal to a broad audience, the better off we will be in terms of not only having a crowd that really enjoys themselves, but actually, you know, from the fundraising collection side of it. So we kind of stripped both of our sets back and went for like 100%, you know, top recognizable. So our first set is really kind of a party rock set. We'll do YMCA, Moni Moni, What I Like About You, Shout, Mambo Number 5, which is one of Duane's favorite songs. And and then in the second set, we rock it up a tad, but it's still, again, you know, songs that are completely recognizable. So you won't find any sort of hidden gems or band personal favorites. You'll only find, like, you know, like the chart toppers. And it's really meant to be something that appeals to a really broad audience. You know, we know, without spitting out a lot of data, we know our audience is on the older side, just like I might be. And so we're not going to crank it up too hard, in spite of what some of the guys in the band might want to do. But we appeal, you know, and people dance and they recognize the songs, and we have fun. We do a little bit of shucking and jiving with the suits, and along the way, you know, raise some money. The other thing is, like, that kind of comes and sneaks up in the process, is that a lot of these organizations we work with might not be familiar to everyone. Some of them are. Alzheimer's Association is, Cure Childhood Cancer is, right? But you know, Duane mentioned giving birthday presents to city children, right? There's an organization we work with that is not front and center to everybody. So the second thing that I think we do in our show is raise awareness, right? So, you know, okay, we'll take your $50 and we'll sell you one of our shirts, of course, but we're also going to give the charity a chance to talk about what they do and open up people to that. And then that sort of has that domino effect on those organizations when they leave, not only when they're in the event with us. So it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, that's excellent. It sounds like you've come up with the right formula, definitely, like you said, to appeal to a broader audience. You know, the folks that are coming there want to get up, want to dance a little bit. You know, they're definitely want to hear the hits that you guys are playing, so that, you know, in a more general type of audience. So that definitely seems to fit. So tell me about the you were telling me a little bit about it. I think the first fundraiser that you guys did, the first big one.
First one ever.
Well, you said you did the karaoke one, but then what did you guys do after that?
We went right. Oh, it's kind of funny because we went right from that, you know, making the decision in about 2018 that we were going to sort of take this out publicly, right? And we were so green at it. The first event we did publicly was for ALS, right? And we were so new and didn't really understand how to handle it, to the point where we didn't even tell the folks from ALS we were having an event for them. We just walked up to their door on the Monday afterwards and knocked and said, handed them a check and said, oh, by the way, we raised some money for you. And they're like, well, if you would have told us you were doing it, man, we would have come out and, you know, partied and brought our people. And so we've evolved a great deal in terms of how we approach the shows. That one is kind of funny in terms of the history of, you know, where we were at. We were just, the song list wasn't, you know, the same in terms of crowd appeal. We were kind of playing our own blues rock thing, and but yeah, we've learned a ton. So
Right, you had to tweak it a little bit, and then you can get a better feel of like how big of an audience you're going to get. You know, especially when you get into obviously these bigger charities and stuff. They're expecting, you know, I'm sure a bigger type crowd in from you to do that. So you worked your way up. That's great. I know ALS was real big at fundraising and real big in the news a couple of years ago and stuff. And that was definitely around a lot. You've also done stuff for Pirate Toy Fund and the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention as well.
Yeah, that's really gets to be part of it that's so humbling, in a sense that we sit down with the folks, when we decide to do an event, and we kind of lay out what we do, and begin the planning process, and to hear the stories from some of these folks, like the National Foundation for Suicide Prevention, the principal, our contact there has had personal experience in that, and the opportunity to work with these folks, to be trusted by them, to have their name on our show with what they do and how close it is to their hearts many times. It's crazy.
Right, I'm sure you had to prove yourself, so they felt kind of good giving you guys the reins a little bit for their charity, and to be able to do that. How are the venues? What type of venues do you play, and how are they about hosting these type of activities?
That's another thing that we've kind of come sort of around on. When we first started, again, I mentioned that I'd go to a sit down with a charity, and I'd say, all for free, plan it out, play for free, give you the check, and they say, what's the catch? Well, the same thing was true for a lot of the venues initially. So I would go out, or we would go out, and we would say, hey, listen, we want to play here, and it's going to be a fundraiser, and it's going to be good PR for you, and we're not going to charge you anything, and you can reap whatever across the bar or in your restaurant from the event. And they'd say, what's the catch? And so it took a little time to build that up too. We played some pretty small places,
right?
Places that we found along the way, wine bars and hotel, strip hotel, kind of little places. But we were at the point now where I don't know how Double D feels, but we've got a sort of a nucleus of locations we work with that we're kind of spreading out a little bit, but we're Rochester based, right? So Rochester, New York based. So we got an east side location, a west side location, city center location. And they're really partners now. They're not just venues anymore. And
yeah, I mean, really all these places that we play at, they feel at home. They're kind of like our home base, if you will. We walk in, and it's just a great vibe all around, and I think we get along great with all these owners and staff there, and Steve has really done a great job in really cultivating the relationships with these guys, and they're not just somebody that we're working with, but they're friends of ours too, and so that helps out a lot, and kind of go along, a lot of the things that we're doing. It's not the same every single show. So when you come out to a show, you're not just hearing music, you're being entertained, right? And it's always evolving a little bit. It might not be in leaps and bounds every time, but it's constantly evolving to a point where I don't think that'll ever stop, really, because we're always trying to do a little bit something more, a little something better. And that is something that kind of keeps us all excited to want to continue, doing something more and better as well.
Yeah, you definitely gotta change it up a little bit, add some things, and make it a little more fresh, right? Especially if you're getting some of the same, audiences at the different venues, right? They're gonna want to see something a little bit different, something a little bit new. So to keep it fresh, for sure.
That's
That's
why
right.
we
We're constantly working on new songs and new ideas, and we got some other stuff that we're just talking about today, Steve. And so it's all cool stuff that's constantly taking that next step up.
I think that Double E, let me know if you agree. Like one of the things that's important to us, so that now we've got this sort of basis of charity partners and a little bit of trust in the community, which is so amazing. And we've got venues that are our friends and our partners now, not just places to play. And we've sort of built how we do our sets and the songs and all that. But I think one of the things that's been really neat is the evolution, and it's not like you say, we're not stopping, is like being different than a typical band. And I don't mean necessarily musically better or not better, but involving things that they wouldn't do. Like, we'll do a name that tune contest where we charge people and the money goes to the charity, or we have flat screens on either side of the stage that pumps lyrics and video and pictures of us and keep the crowd going and entertained and connected. We do different things in songs. I might be known to get up on the bar or on a chair and lead YMCA if I have to, if I have to.
Right.
But the point is, and we're all cued that way, not just me. And the idea is like it needs to be like a sort of a multi-dimensional event, right? Like it's meant to be fun, entertaining, interactive, and by the way, we'll raise some money and some awareness too. So if you come out to our show, hopefully you'll dance, hopefully you'll sing along, maybe you'll get involved in a contest. Like Duane said, we're working on a new way to connect with the audience right now as we speak. And so again, not just what's the next song when we do that, but not just that, like how else can we bring people in? And it's born out of the fact that we started in that sort of live karaoke thing, right? So we learned pretty early on, we don't want necessarily people always coming up and singing with us, because that doesn't bear well for the folks in the audience sometimes.
Right, right. They might not want to hear that for too long, right?
So instead of bringing them to us, we try to take it to them and some of these other things, and so yeah, like at least we're thinking about what we're doing next, something new.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's great. Yeah.
So this is not your typical charity event that you might be used to going to, right? So people come, they watch us, they're being entertained, and quite honestly, probably after the first or second show or song, they completely forget that this is a charity event, that we're trying to get some money out of them to help pay for things, and they're having a great time. You got our first set that's kind of a party set. And then you go into our second set that we end up going through a wardrobe change, and we got our rock gear on, and then you take like say me and Lou, they have a pretty heavy like Van Halen and 80s rock background, and I think that shows through in our music as well, because we're pretty high energy, and so you forget the fact that that we're not taking any money at all, because I think you're still getting a good quality sounding songs coming out, and you're being entertained. So I think you take all that together, and it's a really good package.
Yeah, I think that's what some bands forget about. You're there to entertain, and you want to put on a show. You guys are still looking for that perfect mixture, but you're adding things and making it exciting. Exactly, they should feel like they're at a party, they're at an event. They're not just there at a fundraiser. They're having fun. Exactly. That's great.
Exactly
You guys
right.
bring that through.
Yeah, I remember the one time I brought the idea of doing the wobble, which is a line dance that's not really a country line dance, I guess. And I said, guys, I think we should do this. We'll go out and we'll mix with the crowd. And they were kind of like, you mean we're going to play that song? I said, no, we're going to play it pre-recorded, and we're going to go out and we're going to learn it. And Duane's wife was, very kind enough to sort of show us the ropes as we tripped over our feet. But we don't necessarily do that all the time anymore. We haven't in a bit, but that's the kind of thing that we're talking about, where we
Yeah,
just,
that kind of thing usually gets a really nice crowd reaction. I've seen
Yep.
different shows, I mean, take example of like you were seeing an AC/DC tribute band and, their Angus character goes through the crowd and interacts. It really gets the crowd pumping. They feel more a part of the show.
absolutely, that's exactly
Right,
it.
and that happens at our shows, and Steve is famous because he's he's going wireless, right? So he's out in the crowd, he's dancing with them, he's on top of tables, he's on top of bars. It's a exciting for me, on the back line, looking out there, seeing Steve playing his bass on top of a table, so it's and the energy just keeps going up, and that's really what we enjoy seeing, lots of energy.
Yeah, that's another great thing. If you're on like a high top somewhere, walking across something, playing guitar, playing bass, people eat that up. And like I could take, for example, like watching like Van Halen doing "Hot for Teacher" when he was walking through all the tables in the library.
Right.
That was just so cool, right?
Yeah.
But in a bar, it's hard because it's dark, obviously. But yeah, people really dig that type of thing. That's great. You guys create that type of energy and that type of excitement. I'm sure people look forward to seeing what you're going to do next.
It's we mentioned it, but being multidimensional is important, right? Because even though we've got a couple of virtuosos in the band, that's mostly not what we ask of them, or even let them, mostly. And so it's really more about like the song and the event and the energy level and the videos on the screens and the lights and the the suits and just have fun and help us support the community. That's really right. I mean, that's what we want. That's what the dogs are all about.
That's right.
Great. Yeah. I've seen your list is like so crazy. All the different things, Alzheimer's Association, you mentioned, Webster Beats, brain tumors, so many different ones here that you guys do. Do you have a standard one, a base one that you usually do, or do you just keep looking around, or how does that work?
It's a combination of both, right? So that evolution from ALS, where they didn't even know we were there, to where we are now is we've sort of built like relationships with a number of charities. So we talked about the Happy Birthday Cha 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 is a great example, that the birthday presents for the city school children. We just finished our third event with them. We've done Alzheimer's a couple times, Cure Childhood Cancer Association a few times. So we've got partners that are, well, I guess at this point I would say are longer term sort of connected to us, and then along the way we pick up others as we go, because we're starting now to sort of, you mentioned the Jefferson Award for public service. We're starting to get some sort of eyes on us for what we do, and so now others are asking questions about, hey, can you do an event for diabetes, or can you epilepsy, or there's so many great opportunities out there.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about that award. So let's talk a little bit about the Jefferson Award for public service. So it was given to you by, what was it, one of the local TV stations, or how did all that go?
Yeah, it's co-sponsored by Rochester WHCC Channel 10 and ESL Federal Credit Union, and locally it's a national level award, but the Rochester sort of chapter of that award is sponsored by those two entities, and they give it out to between say 3 or 4, 5, 6 individuals or groups who exhibit public service effort in the community. And when you see some of the other folks that have won that, and compared the work that they're doing in the community every day, it's amazing that we can call ourselves part of that, because in our own way we might be standing on chairs dancing in the YMCA, or Double D might be hammering out a drum beat to a Van Halen song, but when it's all said and done, we've raised awareness about a really important organization, or 12 this year, and we've handed over $125,000 collectively to those charities. So we have to remember that we've got a contribution there too. So it's amazing. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have any other projects in the works? Some bands I know they do like some type of benefit songs and they actually sell some stuff. You guys thinking along those lines anywhere, or do you have some other stuff in the works?
You mean like original recorded music kind of thing and sell
Right. Yeah.
that?
Right.
What's interesting, here's a plug for one of our guys who couldn't be here tonight, Al Germano, our keyboard player, lead singer. He does write and record his own original music, but that's a separate entity. It's just that he deserves a plug because it's amazing. He's so talented. But in terms of what we do, I think we do have merch, so we sell that at shows and in between if somebody's so inclined. I think Double D hit it straight on. Most of our effort goes into two things. One, kind of marketing to get more, to increase our reach, connect with new charities and connect with new listeners at our shows, new participants, I guess. And then the other side is just like building up the show and the way we do it. So our focus is really on that live event in terms of what we do next. Grow more, grow bigger, make a bigger impact, that kind of thing. But our emphasis is really like in that space. Would you say that's true, Duane? Or
Absolutely. Yeah. I think you nailed it on the head.
Yeah, well, I really love it. What you guys are doing great, giving back to the community, and it's not with one charity. It's multiple charities. You're giving everybody some love, and showing us what the folks in Western New York can do. We have a couple different organizations and do that in Buffalo. You guys are doing that in Rochester. I think that's amazing. I'm so glad you got recognized. You should be very proud of that for sure. If people want to book you or know more about you, where should they check you out? Should they go to your Facebook page, your website, or what should they do?
Either or and all of the above. We're out on Facebook, the Dogs, and we have an Instagram page, Dogs for a Cause. It's kind of our tagline. And we also have a website where they can get a little bit more detail about the work we're doing, some of the charities that we're involved in, and they can connect with us in the contacts page there too. So really any of those platforms would definitely work. So I want to say that we appreciate you doing this with us. We took some time to watch some of the videos that the podcasts you've done, and you've had some amazing guests, really high profile people, and to be part of that, the collection of podcasts now with people like Billy Sheehan, etc. It's amazing. It's a really good feeling, and so knowing we do what we do, and that we're playing YMCA, not something a little more crunchier. We appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, definitely. What you guys are doing is so important, and I just want to take the time to share that with more people. We had Will Schumeister from the Buffalo Drummers that does charity work for the area. We had a show with him as well. But I just think that's so important to showcase that and show that people are giving back to the community. What we do around here, and definitely and keep people advised of what's going on with music, right? What's happening in the venues, and that's the whole reason we started talking about rock, because with the COVID thing going on, everybody was like, I'm not going out, I'm not going to see shows. And when stuff started moving forward, it's like I wanted people to know, there's still great bands around, there's still venues to go to. If you still dig this music and you still want to be a part of it, these bands need you. These venues need you. Go out and support them. Check them out. So I thought it was really, really important to do that. Myself and my co-host Jerry, who couldn't be with us tonight, and we were so lucky to be able to contact, like you said, Billy Sheehan, one of the most badass basses, from Buffalo. He still has so many Buffalo ties. He lives in Nashville now. We're going to be bringing him back for another show. So many other artists as well. Jesse Galante, another Buffalo Hall of Fame member. Jim Crean, another Buffalo Hall of Fame member. We were lucky enough to speak with Stephen Piercy for a little bit. One day, Liberty DeVito from Billy Joel's band. We've been really lucky making connections and talking to people, about their careers, or maybe they're coming back. They got a new album coming out. Nashville's a real hotbed right now, and there's a lot of new stuff coming from out there. You know, the folks in Lost Circus are one band that's getting really hot. They're getting a lot of airplay. They got a plug from Eddie Trunk, and he was giving them a little bit of noise on the air, which was really cool.
That's awesome.
There's also a band called Naked Gypsy Queens. They're starting to tour with Mudhoney, so they're starting to make their way up the chain. You know, we also reached out to some of the Buffalo bands around here. Hearts and Hand Grenades we had on a couple weeks ago. You know, all original music. Really dig it. We just want people to realize that. You know, if you're still into this music and you still like it, that's great. That's what we're doing. You know, go out and check it out and support this music and support these venues, definitely.
Absolutely.
But what you guys are doing is the tough stuff, and that deserves all the credit. Congratulations again on that award. That's great. I hope you know we hear more from you in the future and keep moving, paying it forward, as they say.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And dogs up.
Excellent.
Dogs
Great. So, folks, we appreciate you watching today. And if you want to know more about us or you have comments or questions, please feel free to email us at talkingboutrock@gmail.com. Please like us and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, subscribe to our YouTube channel for all our up and coming interviews. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Take care.